So if we could invite ourselves to the peace of being. Recognize your experience as it is. Breathe through it. And turn your attention to presence. The screen of awareness. No effort. Nothing to do. No need to engage with your experience in order to fix it or understand it or improve it. Notice the peace, the stillness. Which is present effortlessly. Such a wonder. To be present, to be. The wonder of awareness, the wonder of consciousness. It's taken on this form, the form of this experience, this perception, this sensation of the breath, hearing these words. What a wonder. That we don't need to do anything or to be anybody. To simply be in awe. Like a newborn, the eyes of wonder. the wowness of every moment, which is the wowness of consciousness, a moment of eternity, the eternity of consciousness. Wow. Sensations within the body, sensations arising in the spaciousness of awareness. We say body, but it's all awareness, isn't it? Whenever you look and wherever you look, there you are. This magnificent presence that has no owner, nobody who controls it, runs it, fixes it, improves it. Just shining light of awareness. No beginning and no ending to being. There is an ending and a beginning to being somebody, being something, being someone. But being is eternal, not in time. Consciousness takes on the form of a thought. Seemingly becoming a thought. A mind impression. While remaining this transparency, this infinity. from the perspective of a thought, which is no perspective at all. Consciousness is an event. An event which depends on the mind, the false impression. But from the perspective of awareness, consciousness, the thought is the event. Consciousness takes on the form of a thought, the impression of time. You do not exist in time. You are the magical wonder of consciousness. So mind-blowing. The mind being like a candle light. Consciousness, the sunlight. It is the sunlight that lends its light to the candle. It is the sunlight that reflects seemingly as particular sun events on the surface of the lake, scintillations, impressions of light, impressions of a lake. From that perspective, the sun seems to be a multitude of events, a multitude of reflections. While the sun is one, a multitude of one. The eternity of being. It is via thought that you imagine the death of I. Via the perspective of thought, the death of the thought is projected onto consciousness. Creating the impression that the ending of the I thought which occurs moment by moment signifies the death of consciousness. There is only one reality. There is no such thing as the ending of reality. There's no such thing as no reality. Absolute. Aspect. It refers to reality, to consciousness. Moment by moment, you experience life and death. The arising and the extinction of every thought, every impression, every sensation. And these impressions are like your dream. What you truly are does not die. Okay, well, if you have any questions, hello, Holger.
Hello, Magdi. I started to appreciate the depth of the flop instead to just only joyride. I started to see how beautiful it is to like coming down again into my old patterns and habits, and to having the feeling, oh, I almost lost it or something, instead to feel sorry for myself. I see the wisdom and beauty in going back into my old misery and suffering. And something is just beautiful. I cannot explain it. Like a certain depth, or what I before always habitually rejected and didn't want to feel. I see now that there is some substance in it, something to be discovered or let go or whatever. I don't know how to say it. But it's just so much more peace in all of this mental confetti inside of myself. It's so amazing, so beautiful. I'm very, very happy and grateful to be here. I don't know if anything of my words make any sense, but it's fine.
You know, the contemplation of truth and the resonance of truth within oneself. It thins the veils and reveals the peace and happiness of our true nature. That which is pristine, and with the revelation of peace, there is appreciation. It's like, you know, and it's sort of effortless. It's like the morning daylight, sort of gently transforming the darkness into lightness. Our true nature is peace and happiness. And the more we realize that and we become comfortable with our true nature, the less our interest in leaving it in order to argue some empty argument on behalf of some illusory self. This illusory me likes company. So there is an illusory other. Numerous others. Because even within the illusion, there is the desire for procreation, for continuation. Because in the continuation of the illusion, there is the overlooking of the eternity of consciousness, of presence. That in fact, the sense of being alone and needing company is a false sense. You already are the wholeness, the fullness, nothing lacking. But from the perspective of being immortal body-mind, I am alone, and my return to wholeness is to create others, to have company, give the impression of the tribe. But that's not true wholeness. That's multiplicity of minds. True wholeness is a sort of a healing from the erroneous impression of separation and isolation. That which I truly am, that which I is, that which reality, consciousness is. The true significance of I. The living reality. Creator of all creation. The reality of creation, the reality of all impressions. This is I. That which in our experience doesn't come and go. Knowing oneself is the dissipation of the false. whatever we hold on to, in the imagined belief that there is someone holding on to something. It's really important to maintain this, to maintain this position of somebody getting it right. It's all falsehood. Because in our experience, there no reality to that which appears. The reality is not that which appears. So whatever we're holding on to is false, because it's a false attempt at wholeness, a false attempt at plenitude. Like trying to fill a bucket that has no bottom. So we come to the edge of the precipice.
So my joy and my happiness is just another form of resistance.
Well, joy and happiness, there is no mind to it. Joy and happiness, there is no resistance in joy or happiness. There is resistance in pursuit and avoidance, but not in joy. Joy is the bubbling of happiness, happiness bubbling.
But it doesn't mean anything. I mean, it just is what it is, and it's just a perfume. I mean, it's not. It's just a phase. It's just a moment. And
Are you talking about happiness?
Yeah.
No, happiness is not a moment. Pleasure is, sensation is, but happiness is a sort of the absence of an object and subject. It's objectless. Happiness is objectless. It's causeless, and there isn't somebody. There isn't a personal self or a collector or a holder or a accumulator of happiness or a rememberer of happiness or an experiencer of happiness. There is just happiness. Peace and happiness are your absence and your absence as impersonal presence. That is no objective or direction, or it's its own source. The joy is happiness meeting itself in its creation. The joy of being, the joy of friendship. Sort of an exaltation. In which you are completely dead. You are not there as a person.
But fully alive.
Yes, it's happiness in the world. Not from the world. So yes, it is what the true meaning of life is happiness. Happiness. As we are right now. Peace and happiness of our true nature. That's sort of we're living it now in this moment. It's the expression of our true nature that is not affected by ignorance. It's not tainted by ignorance. So in a way, it's like the pure expression of our true nature. So it's like the rose, the rose bush, it expresses itself as red, yellow, pink roses. So it's the expression of the rose bush, the roses.
Thank you.
It's like a frankincense. You burn it and the whole house is this fragrant smell. Shiva.
And it is always.
Yes, yes. But she's saying that those who have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, something like that. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. It is so, lest we have the eyes to see and the ears to hear.
And that's why the person has to die in order for it to be seen.
Yes, but
I mean, it just.
Yes, but what is the death of an illusion? Santa Claus has to die. Don't be so harsh. Santa Claus. We love our Santa Claus. No, I understand what you're saying. Of course, to see through to the true healing is not truly the death of the personal self. It's seeing its ghost-like aspect. To sort of there's an understanding, and the understanding that sort of percolates or animates your entire being, that sort of understanding. There is a freedom within understanding, and the freedom is just a sort of the dropping of the false.
And the false is the sense that I am the doer, that I am in charge, that I am manipulating and bringing things about.
The belief that I consciousness is limited and defined by the body-mind. By thoughts, feelings, impressions, functioning of the brain.
Yeah, I see how I entertained always two eyes. Like there was this me, and then there was this big God I. But it's just the limitation of the I that I interpreted as me.
Mm.
And maybe there are no words.
It's sort of a reduction or imposing some sort of limitations onto consciousness and onto the I, the true I, the only I. Sort of personalizing the universal and defining the eternal as an event in time and space. So yes, it is a caricature of consciousness, a me. Is a particular caricature of consciousness, which is mistaken to be consciousness itself. Mistaking the eternal and the infinite to be mortal and limited. Believing that it is so and feeling and living as such. You know, with the personal preoccupations and personal concerns, and managing the realm of emotions and managing the tribe, because the personal self doesn't like to be alone. It projects others, and so there is a lot of preoccupation about the tribe, about the herd. The stable.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Any questions?
Hi, Magdi.
Hello, Amna.
I had the question formulated. Now, one moment. So like one pattern for me is like I don't feel like it.
You don't want to what?
And like it comes, I don't want to, I don't feel like it.
Oh, okay.
And like it feels really heavy. And I've explored with like following it and not doing stuff. And I also explored with like doing whatever, even though that's like in the background, I don't want to. And it's still very unpleasant, and it feels like pulling teeth, and it's not like, it's not happy.
Yes, you know. Sorry. I mean, as long as you don't have to do something, as long as it's not urgent or really important for you to do something, what's wrong with not feeling like you want to do whatever. I mean, not feeling like doing, or like not feeling like it. You don't feel like going for a walk. And says, go for a walk. I don't feel like it. Okay, well, you don't go for a walk. I mean, so I mean, it's okay not to feel like. You don't have to do anything. I mean, if you don't feel like eating, like sleeping, don't eat, don't sleep. If you like it, you when you feel like it, then do it.
Well, then there are like consequences.
Yeah, but because you don't feel like sleeping, for example, you don't go to sleep, and then you'll go to sleep at 3:00 in the morning, and you'll wake up at noon, and the consequence is that you missed your 10:00 meeting. Well, use an alarm clock. Use the alarm clock. Set the alarm for 9:00. But yeah, so there are consequences. You will be tired. You will wake up at 9. You only had 3 hours of sleep or whatever. You are tired, but you don't mind because you did what you felt like doing. Now, if you really don't feel like wanting to be so tired at 9:00, then you're going to alter the previous feeling that I don't feel like going to sleep. Okay, fine. So I don't feel like going to sleep. So rather than going to sleep at 2:00, maybe, okay, I don't feel like going to sleep now. Let me see, maybe I'll go to sleep at midnight. Then I wake up at 7:00 or 8:00, 8 hours of beauty sleep. You can still make your 9:00 meeting. So you are free to play with that. It's not a big deal, you know. Let's just play. I mean, either you're willing to live with the consequences, or to a certain extent alter your choices in order to round the edges around the consequences. But the whole thing is not such a big deal. It's not so. Because you're a participant there. I mean, there is, you have that inner voice within you that's saying, well, yeah, I'd like to do this, and no, I don't like to do that. That's part of the panorama. It's part of the what's available to you. So you have to take that in consideration too. What you feel like, what do you feel like doing or not doing? Like you don't have to, except when you really have to. I mean, sometimes you have to. If you have to, I don't know, help your sister, your brother, your friend, you know, because you promised. So I mean, there are some situations you really you committed yourself to do them, or the situation is requesting from you to act in a certain way, then you do it. I mean, if you don't feel like stopping at the red light, you know, that would be a disaster. Right? I mean,
there's also like a resistance to the consequences. And I recognize that this is not like intelligent, and it's
like what would be an example of that? What would be an example? Do you have an example?
Like the one you brought up of just the simple, like not staying up. So you're not tired in the morning. So then like I stay up, but then I wake up in the morning and I'm tired and I'm pissed about being tired.
Oh. Well, it's the game you want to play, you know. You want to stay up and you want to get pissed about staying up. I mean, yes, it's not logical, but, you know, it's completely irrational.
Yeah.
So it's your freedom to be irrational with yourself, as long as you're not irrational with others. That can cause them some harm, you know. Yeah, you're free to be irrational with yourself. To want to, you know, to want to stay up late and to hate it at the same time. It's not rational. But that's easy to deal with. I mean, you can decide to go to bed earlier. It won't cause you any harm, you know. I remember I used to stay up really late at night, and at some point I was in a relationship with somebody who went to bed at 9. I'm saying, what are you, you know, 9? I mean, midnight, okay, but 9. But anyways, one day I said, okay, fine, I'll go to bed at 9. Okay, I'll go up, you know. And I loved it. It was good. I slept like a baby. It was great. I found that I had a resistance that was sort of illogical, irrational. But that's easy to deal with. You just don't resist. You give it up, give it a try. Give it a try, either to go to bed earlier or to, sort of be a little drowsy in the morning and say, okay, fine, that's fine. I can be drowsy. I mean, we can be drowsy, can't you? You can be tired.
Like I notice, like with this specific example, when it does happen, like I'm not really interested. It's like there's something in me that's just stubborn. It's like I don't really feel like staying up, but I'm gonna stay up. Like I'm not, yeah, and it's
Well,
like, and
sometimes we don't want to let go of experience. It's like we're holding on to something to maintain, maybe behind the scene, to maintain this me activity. I'm still, the me is still there. So we maintain a certain activity because via this activity, I remain. I'm still me. There's still an experience, which means there's still me. So consciousness in this case is dependent on the experience. I need that experience to continue to be but I consciousness doesn't give a hoot about experience. It's not in the experiencing business. It does create experience and experiences, but it doesn't need it.
that rings true. Like holding on to experiencing.
So you are the I am, I is, irrespective of experience. And I is in the presence of experience, and I is subsequent to experience, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no issue with experience. The I is what you are, and that is okay pre-experience, is okay during experience, and is okay post-experience. So don't make a big deal about the experience. You are what you are, meaning consciousness, irrespective of experience. And experiences can be joyful, a celebration of consciousness, a play of consciousness. It's not punishing, it's not about achieving something. It's not about attaining anything. It's playful. So it has a celebratory aspect to it. And of course, experience is also contemplative in a way. That's what we're doing now. And of course, experience is also functional. I mean, we go to work or whatever we do. We cook a meal, it's functional. But it's a tool. It's not an end in itself. It's not the end. It's not the purpose. Yeah, you follow?
So, in like there's clarity in terms of like, I feel like there's clarity and understanding in terms of like that situation. And I was just seeing images of other situations where that resistance comes up. Like, I don't want to, I don't feel like it. And
like what? What would be an example of that?
man, it was so like present yesterday. We had like my family was coming over, and like I take care of my dad because he has Alzheimer's.
Yes.
So like in the morning, it's like dreading getting up and like feeding him and changing him, and dreading like getting the house like cleaned and organized. Like I took care of everything, but it was just like heavy. And I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, it's not an easy thing to take care of. The situation you're in. It's not easy. So, I mean, what is it? Kudos to you. I mean, to be up to that. And it's okay to have this, to feel this sort of, I mean, it's not fun to have to take care of somebody and change them and feed them or whatever, so I mean, we do it because we have find ourselves in situations where that's what we're doing, but this doesn't mean that we really enjoy doing that. Yeah, but it's okay not to enjoy that. It's okay not to enjoy have to clean up the house because the family's coming, I understand that. It's not easy. So don't get on your own case, for not enjoying that or for dreading it. Just you do your best with it, You don't worry about people's judgments. You do your best, and you don't have to earn a medal, for yourself or for your family,
Yeah, I don't really care about that.
I understand that. Just saying that not to, don't get on your own case about that, about how you're feeling and the resistance. Like I found there are a lot of things that I find some resistance, the there is an initial resistance, like you have to take the trash out on Sunday, and so there's a resistance. And because it's not fun to just drag these cans of trash out to the curb. But because I understand that it's all an inner thing, and it's all in, what do you say? It is self-induced job. I don't know what the expression is. It's like an inner job, inside job, to make a big deal about it. So I say, oh, okay. So I go with it, I do it, and then I realize it's okay. It's not a big deal. So now it's by habit. So I have to say, okay, well, I'll take the trash out. It's okay. Yeah. What I mean, what I'm gonna, if I'm not doing that, what am I like saving humanity? So I have a choice between saving humanity and taking the trash. No, it's a choice between taking the trash or I don't know, sitting on the couch. You know, it's not like, so okay, I'll take the trash out. No, but in your case, of course, it's much more challenging. I understand. It's much more. It's not. We're not talking about taking the trash out. You know, you do your best. You know, somehow that's what you're doing. So the best. But sometimes there is an inside job. You know, I'm not saying that's the case for you, but just sharing it, because I'm just sharing my own experience. You know, that sometimes I find there is some resistance inside of me. It's very subtle, but then I sort of manage it, and I find that it's not a big deal. You know, not a big deal. Sometimes I make a big deal out of something which is not such a big deal. A lot of things are not such a big deal. I mean, actually, maybe almost everything. Everything is such a big deal.
It's very true. It's like there's that resistance and it's like so dreadful, and then I do it and it's like, I wasn't.
Right.
Really? You spend 3 hours dreading this and avoiding this, and
it's funny, isn't it? Yeah, I know. But that's important work, by the way, Amna. I mean, this, you know, these like little, maybe not so little, these inner sort of inner contradictions within us, you know, to sort of be working with that, you know, that has far-reaching consequences, you know, in terms of the freedom, you know, realizing the freedom of being. You know, these are like little small yoga exercises that are available to us to take advantage of, you know, to practice.
when you say the inner contradictions, what are you talking about?
Inner contradictions, like inner resistances, you know, inner the sort of, you know, the yes and the no. Yeah, yes, I want to do that, and no, I don't want to do it. Why am I the one to do this? And whatever situations, you know, inner conversations we have with ourselves, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Why am I not being appreciated? Or whatever. All these are like little yoga exercises to sort of see through how the me mechanism operates. You know, the sense of separation operates, because in a way that's it's about the sense of separation, because it's not so much about where I live, how I live, who do I take care of, or who do I don't take care of, because you could be completely free of taking care of anybody and still have the sense of separation in trumps, you know, in you know. So it's about it's about the unhappiness, right?
Yeah. And you're like, what you're talking about, I know it from firsthand. Like when for example, taking care of my dad, like we had AIDS, and I was still like, I would wake up and I'm pissed off. Like I didn't have to take care of him, but so
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it is the sense of separation.
Right. And noticing how there may be, and sometimes there are some old habits of resistance and that are completely irrational. They're completely local. I mean, they're like, I mean, if you really take a minute off and look at them, you find that it's a little bit mad, you know.
Yeah, I know.
And it's an inside job also. I mean, it's like nobody's going to come and save us from that. I mean, like, oh yeah, she shouldn't, or he shouldn't, or they shouldn't. But it's all an inside job, because even when they act differently, I'm going to be pissed about something else.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So then, you know, so it's just me and myself in a way, you know. It's like, okay, well, first to see it, you know, you see it, you say, well, it's illogical, and it's not like, oh, it's illogical, I've got to wage a war against it. No, because that's not, that's like, wow, we need to rally the troops. No, it's just sort of seeing it, you know, you see it, and you see the irrational aspect of it.
I want to share something.
Yeah.
So like growing up, my experience, because I'm like, well, anyways, my experience, I felt like I have to do a lot of things. There are a lot of adults. And then I read Osho, and he contradicts himself a lot, but the thought, like, don't do anything you don't want to do. And I have been like dedicated to that for like 10 plus years. And it's not happy at all. And it's like now, so it's like the pendulum went here and then it went here. And it's like, I'm not interested in that. I'm like losing interest in that. It just, there's a lot of energy there.
Yeah. You know, it's, I mean, the sense of separate me, that sense of separate me, being this person, you know, being this limited consciousness, you can take that same sense, put it in the ghetto, or put it in a castle. It's the same. I mean, it's not about the ghetto or the castle. It's not about doing what I want or doing what everybody else wants me to do. It's about what is this, the contemplation about I. What is this I? Because all what my family wants me to do are just voices within me. They're part of this me, part of my sense of me. And Osho or anybody else, I don't know anything about Osho, so I'm just throwing his name because you mentioned Osho. So I'm not talking about Osho at all. I'm just, or any other voice that says, no, here is a new download. Okay, here's a new download. Be free, you know, party, whatever, do what you want, you know, sex and booze and whatever, you know, be free, travel the world. It doesn't address, it's just another download. It's like, okay, you know, you're like by a jukebox, you know, the old jukebox, you play a record and then that record is off, another record comes up, another, then next, it's not about that. It's about not being a jukebox. What I meant is, it's about what is this me? What is my experience of what is the true I? What truly is you have to come to consciousness. You have to come to, and use whatever word, I mean, you have to come not to just what the mind has been sort of, all the downloads on the mind, the impressions of the past and future, etc. Because that's just stuff. It's stuff. Not tough. It is stuff. But you are not stuff. Consciousness is not stuff. So the I that is past stories and past histories and images and memories and whatever, or the future hopes and what it should be and need to be and so on, all of that is stuff, right?
Yeah.
But you are the freedom from this. You are the freedom of, you are beingness. You are being. You are not stuff. You are consciousness, right? Right. I mean, you are this aware presence. You see.
So earlier when you said make it like a yoga,
Yes.
like these little, what is that?
So, like for example, in my case, example of taking the trash out. Say, okay, let's see what taking the trash. Let's see what taking the trash out is like. Let's do an experiment of taking the trash out and see what's the issue, what's a big ado, Okay, fine. So let's go. Why am I doing the trash from taking the trash? Interesting. There's like a rumination. There's like this rumination, some sort of thoughts, but that's just stuff. It's like the weather, There's no issue whatsoever with pushing the thing. The body's still healthy. I can push the thing up to the curb and turn it around. And then I realize, wow, this actually is nice. It's actually okay. It's not bad. It's movement. Well, yeah, we could. So I don't know. That's just I just say, wow, that's nice. Oh, and I'm outdoors. And oh man, I see the sky. I see the sky. And I look at the sky. I say, wow, there's a sky in the mountains in the distance. So this is really beautiful. So I found myself standing by the garbage can, looking at the sky, and looking at the mountains. And Tara is wondering what happened to Magdi. He was taking the trash out. He's not coming back. Okay, well, yoga. So that. What is the issue? Is there an actual issue? Is there a real issue? Because if there is a real issue, then I'm on board for dealing with the real issue. Okay, if we forgot to turn off the stove, yes, that's an issue. That's a real issue. I'm just gonna deal with it. That's not a yoga. That's just shut the gas, turn off the stove, right? But a lot of the other stuff is very interesting because it's a lot of mind, a lot of past, a lot of images, a lot of stories about me, him, her, I'm the victim, why is this happening to me? Or they keep doing this to me? Or, why am I born in this society? Why am I ever born? It's all these. so that, but this unhappy, right? It's unhappy. It's like churning. It's like, you cooked the meal already, but you're still cooking it. I mean, I'm not going to stop cooking that. It's cooked, But so at some point, we stop cooking this freaking meal, right? I mean, and we're waiting for salvation. It's my mother's fault. Oh my God, my mother's fault. You know how long I played this? It's my mother's fault. You know, for many years. You know, and I said, oh my God, she's not never gonna come and help me. I'm never gonna be free of this. It's my mother's fault. Who's gonna free me from it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, who's gonna free me from it? Nobody gives a hoot. Nobody gives a damn about my story about it's my mother's fault.
So you just stopped cooking that? You just done with?
Well, I mean, you know, whatever it takes to, because the doctor isn't coming. So it's self-healing in a way. You figure it out. It's not so complicated. We figure it out.
Your invitation last time to not proceed has been helpful. Like certain stories come up and it's like, this is not happy, don't proceed. But this, okay, this is not happy, don't proceed.
We don't need to keep walking into the wrong direction. We're there. We are the laboratory. So unhappiness is right there. When it arises, it's not arising like later. It's right there. It's real time unhappiness. So say, wait, no. But we laugh. Oh, why she did? Yeah, she did this. Yeah, he did that. Oh, yeah, he did this. We're feeling awful. And everybody's feeling awful. Everybody in the room is saying, "Shut up!" But when, oh no, you know, and you know, and nobody wants to tell you to shut up because oh, they don't want to hurt your feelings. So they're like into, oh, I want to hurt their feelings. And so it's overall, it's not happy. You see, so yeah, just be quiet, be still. Notice, you know, notice we are self-induced masochism. We are masochist, self-induced. All these stories about ourselves and others. Oh my God. You know, that's the me. You know, when you say me, it's just this repetition, the repetition, regurgitation, rumination, the rumination. Oh, again. Oh, I'm done with how bad Peter was. Let me see. Joe, oh yeah, Joe. Oh, Joe's bad. Oh, Joe, I squeezed that lemon so dry now. Oh, now it must be. Oh, my grandmother. Squeeze that lemon, then somebody, you know, something else, you know. They're not getting it. Oh, I'm good. I'm so good. I've been good. I've been so good. I'm so good. I'm so good.
You have the voice down like so good. I love it.
Okay. It's really funny, isn't it? Yeah. But you know, the thing is, its consciousness is borderless, you know. When we start to heal here, the entire space, it's not just a personal healing, you know. It's not just a personal healing. Somehow there is a magic of the wholeness. This magic of the wholeness. It's like, it's crucial actually to heal here at home because it affects the entire realm, the entire dream realm. And it's very important to take it at heart, you know. Take the teaching and the understanding at heart and live it. Do your best.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you all. Very lovely to be with you, Holger and Anna, Sadhu Shiva and Holly and Kelly. Thank you all.